Hey all my fellow and soon to be maniacs out there, it's your favorite webcomic creator and animator, the Chainsaw Maniac, aka Papa Seabelt, aka Chains, aka Mommy Slayer, aka your worst nightmare. So welcome to the webcomic roast, where we watch you squirm while you learn. So first of all, we want to commend those who actually put their webcomics on the chopping block and then straight up in the grilling station so we can light them up. So I'm gonna add all the entries on screen right now for those of you who have applied for the roast, so you can actually see the lineup coming up of comics that we're going to roast. Okay, we have at least I think over 10 entries coming, so you guys don't want to miss out on that. So if you guys want to apply for this webcomic roast, there is a link in the description. You head on down there, you click the link, you fill out the form, and it will add you to the list of entries that I will be roasting, so you will kind of be in the back of the line. However, if you want to move to the front of the line, you hit me up on Patreon, you hit me up on Ko-fi, because those guys get priority. So you know, that's just how it is. But otherwise, you just take a number and wait in line. I will get to you eventually. You know, it's been kind of busy, but I think I'm gonna try and stick on this train. I'm gonna try and build the momentum, and I'm gonna try and go through all of this as much as possible, because there is a lot of you guys and I do want to get through all of the entries. I don't want to make it feel like, goddamn, when is he gonna get to my shit, right? Now that that's out of the way, let's check out the entry that we are going to roast today, and this is called God Has Spite by Nothing Button. Okay, it's a bit of an interesting name. First of all, it's mature audiences. I don't know what that means, and they even listed the time when they regularly upload their episodes. Larry is a grown man with a lot of problems. Life is hard, but he has a secret. He's a magical boy. With the voice of God guiding him, he has to prepare for a dimensional merge that will wipe out all of humanity. As long as he collects energy fragments to enhance his magic, it will be fine. However, other magical boys want the fragments for themselves. Now, bit of a lengthy read right there. I'm pretty sure you could have cut it down to maybe 2 sentences. Like I always say, like if you can cut it down to 2 or even 1 sentence, like I suggest to do, like it's a lot of reading there. Okay, first episode starts out, we have these monsters. Okay, they just roaming around, not really that scary, pretty weird, and you know, and Larry's going around just absolutely demolishing these monsters, and he's kind of feeling himself a bit, you know, he's posing, you know, throwing out his sword and all types of shit, and he's slicing through these monsters, slicing. Look at this guy begging for his life. Okay, he could have a family, he could have kids. Larry don't give a damn. Okay, monsters die. That's basically what Larry's doing. And then Larry's kind of like, yo, I wish there was a challenge for me, you know, these monsters kind of weak. I'm whooping their ass over here. And out of nowhere, he just gets slapped up, straight up monster pump slap in the face, hit him into a wall, and then you get this big ass dinosaur Barney looking motherfucker right here. He's just chilling, straight up just like eyeballing Larry, right? And it's probably because Larry probably murdered all his friends, man. This man, he's pretty sad right there. Look at that tears. That's probably tears running down his face right there. Sad as hell. Okay, now Larry trying to get his game face on. He's really mad right now. He's about to go in on this guy. This monster is him right now. This monster just slapping Larry up. Larry just can't handle this monster right here. This monster's too much for him. And now God kind of chatting to him, saying, hey man, you should have let it go. You should have held out a bit longer. Larry like, nah, this ain't nothing. I can handle this shit. But Larry's like, nah, I got a new move for your ass. You're gonna transform now. You're pulling out the magical boy shit right here. All poses and stuff. And he straight up busts all kind of love on this guy right now, and this guy just explodes from all the love. Okay, and he just gets blown up right into a million pieces. Okay, and then we realize that Larry, he's in his own little world right there, and he's supposed to be sleeping, and he wakes up to all the beeps and bangs from this lady right here, who basically has 2 left hands right there. You know, God bless her soul, man. And she banging on, you know, kicking down the door. I think she's actually the landlady asking for rent over here, and Larry just like, hey yo, what do you want? And he's like, can you please shut your damn mouth, man? Straight up coming out to his own landlord. She's losing the shit right there, calling her a blind hag and everything. Look at this guy don't give a damn. He pulled up to the door with 1 sock, straight up out of bed, man. This man don't give a damn. Larry getting ready for work, and hey yo, Larry putting out some cake out here. I don't know what's happening, but Goddamn. Just as Larry gets to work, one of his homies hit him up like, hey, you can't wear this red bow tie shit. And Larry pump slapped that man like, bam, no, don't touch me, man. Pretty shocked. Look at that face right there. He's like, oh, damn. Didn't know he's pumping strong like that. And walked out. You know he couldn't handle Larry's slaps like that. He's like, nah, this man crazy. Larry talking about how he actually hates his job and, he just wants to go back to what he was doing. Larry looking like a cracked up shrimp over here, going through withdrawals. So yeah, this is kind of what his inner soul looks like, all cramped up and squished right now. Yeah, Larry get home, eating up whatever was left over wherever he found this thing, right? And God's kind of like, hey yo, you can't be letting yourself go like it. You gotta be looking after your body, Larry. And Larry must be running on a budget because he's calling people with this calculator over here. Like, goddamn, what type of phone is that? Poor man's phone right there, if I've ever seen one, man. Larry just let the phone ring like that because he's like, nah, I ain't picking up that phone. Probably my mom's. Yeah, and Larry just let the phone ring. He ain't gonna pick that up. He realized that could have been his mom. He don't want to deal with her bullshit. So God telling him that he passed the practice stage right here. Telling him that you gotta be the strongest human on earth. He's training you for this. Telling him how the realms the monster realm and the human realm will kind of merge into one realm, which will cause a mass extinction, okay? And we can't have that happening. So we gotta train you up. We gotta, throw down some hands with you and yeah, you gotta train up, man. You gotta get in there, do what you gotta do, and you gotta beat the savior that we need. And Larry's like, damn, that's a lot of pressure on my shoulders right there, but I gotta do what I gotta do. And Larry out here, sticking on that bow tie, going all magical boy right here, transforming and so Larry jumping straight into action here, looking like a coked up rabbit on a trampoline, and he's straight up killing these monsters right here. Going straight into it, killing all of them, man, straight up. So Larry kind of tired, taking a break, God telling him, hey, you gotta get up, you gotta do your business, right? You gotta get in there, we gotta deal with this shit. We gotta deal with the worlds merging and all that type of shit. And yeah, you gotta prove yourself to me, you gotta do what you gotta do. And Larry's like, how can I do that, man? Let me break it down for you. Okay, your base level of magic, you're the weakest, but it can be enhanced. Okay, you can increase your shit. Okay, this bow right here that I gave you, that's the source of all your magic right here. Okay, telling him, hey, you can strengthen this bow. You gotta find these little scattered objects, the scattered magic shards, and you gotta use it to improve your magic and and Larry having flashbacks to when he actually looked like a homeless man. Larry knows what he has to do now. He knows he has to get these shards, these fragments, and he has to power up this bow, get himself stronger, right? More monsters pulling up, and he's like, hey man, gotta do what I gotta do. Heading in there, all caked up and And then we get introduced to this guy over here, Arch Knave, who look like he's about to perform by a Prince concert right here. I don't know what's happening, but he's ready to go. So yeah, right here, God trying to tell Larry where to find these magical shots. Larry's like, okay, cool. So I just gotta head over here. And God's like, hey, you gotta hold on, man. Just take it easy. You don't have to do everything all at once. So now we're heading down to the store where Larry's trying to pick out these damn cans. He's trying to figure out what exactly he's going to get. And this is how you know Larry's in a pretty bad spot in his life right here, because these cans ain't even named, okay, but he know they 10 cents, they cheap as fuck, and he's about to buy one of them. Now looking back at this guy kind of sus though in the back. He's kind of just staring at the wall. I don't know what he's staring at, but there ain't anything there. And then he walks past and he has this little demon shadow, just smiling at the reader. So I don't know, this guy look like he's up to something real bad. And now Larry kind of get home now, and you see, oh, there's a letter on the floor. Yeah, he kind of just chucks it in the bin. I'm assuming this is from one of his family members or something. I'm not sure. He kind of have a bad relationship with his family and his moms and everything, so he don't want to handle that shit. So Larry don't give a damn about what exactly is happening over here. He just want to head out. He's pulling out his bow, boom, back into the magical world, So Larry kind of pops into the other world basically, and he kind of pops up with two left hands over here, kind of suffering from whatever the other lady was suffering from. And yeah, it seems to just be this little thing happening with the people in this world. Next thing you know, this monster pops out, and Larry just slashes the shit out of that monster, right? He's going through it, and like this little stuff pops out of the monster's belly, man, just launching attacks at Larry, and he gets up, man. They kind of messed my boy Larry up here, and so Larry kind of pissed here, trying to handle himself, kind of slice up his tentacles right here. But next thing you know, they grabbed him up, and this kind of looking mad sus in this position right here. But hey, man, Larry getting choked up, kind of look like he's in a bad spot. And yeah, this is where you kind of get an idea of like, hey, this god character that's chatting to him is kind of like not really like the type of god you would think, this like holy, you know, always wants good for you type of god, because we get like this scary ass looking face right here, you know, telling Larry that, hey, you don't want to, you know, fail me, and yeah, you get this creepy ass face, and Larry like, ah damn, I gotta handle this otherwise, you know, God can have his way with me. And it looks like this is a bad spot for Larry. Like, yeah, you know, he's not gonna make it anyway. Next thing you know, boom, something happens, right? Monster lets Larry go, and we have this guy on here. So I'm assuming the guy in the prince getup kind of saves Larry's life right there, you know. Yeah, so that's it for this comic. God has spite, and yeah, it's a pretty decent read, you know. It's not really my thing. Seems like a pretty decent read if you kind of like what you see here. Monsters and you know, magical boy stuff. It looks pretty cool. Art style wise, the stylistic approach to it, I ain't too mad about that. It's just proportions, and obviously the limbs. This person kind of mixes up the left and the right limb every now and then. So yeah, you just gotta make sure you're referencing your poses. Make sure you got things. Always reference your poses, guys. Always reference your poses. If you're gonna do a specific pose, even pose yourself. You know, figure out exactly how this person's positioned and stuff. And then also, I just want to hit on that the last episode, because I just want to check the progress of the artwork and how this person progressed through the story, so to say. Doesn't look like there was much of a progression art wise. I don't know if that's just a stylistic thing or if that's just them not improving, but from what I'm seeing here, it's not really that different. So it doesn't improve as much as I would hope it would have, you know, over like 80 plus episodes, right? So but we're gonna look at this more in context, you know. Maybe there is some improvements here and there. I don't really see that much of an improvement. 2 years now, 2 years. Okay, there is still room. There's a lot of room here for improvement. Yeah, there's a lot you can still do here. I don't know if this is just a stylist. It seems like this is just a stylistic choice that they're going for, right? But I think this can still be improved quite a bit. I can see your proportions have gotten better here. Your hand proportions and like your shaping of the characters have gotten better, but I don't know if it's just a time issue as well. If you're having problems with not completing things as quickly, maybe you seem to be uploading every week, so that's also a thing, and I can see why could also be a factor in the series as well. It seems that you are on hiatus as well, so this is the season 1 finale. So damn, you actually made it through. You know, for someone who's also finished season 1 myself, I get it. Okay, you're taking a little break, and I think this is also leading to this little kind of you not improving as much every episode, because you're kind of rushing it a bit, because you're releasing an episode every week, which is pretty nuts. I've done it before, so I know it's pretty nuts. So you can say you're doing about 40-50 panels per episode right here, which is like, damn, you're pushing it hard, man. Like I would try and cut it down to 40 panels per episode if you're doing it a weekly. Man, if you're doing it weekly, like you can't go above 40. Like you're gonna push yourself too hard. 40 itself is a bit crazy for a weekly schedule. I would say I mean, I could do it because I'm insane like that. I can do 10 panels like a day, so that's just how crazy I am. But so yeah, I think it's pretty good that you're taking the hiatus now. I think it's time for you to take a little bit of a break and kind of improve on yourself as an artist. I think take that time to do so. Your actions can be a bit more dynamic. So this goes back to the anatomy and proportionality aspect of it. This comic is a bit too simple at times, and I feel like can do a bit more in terms of bending and like twisting the perspective, getting more dynamic poses going, because I feel like it will add more. Even though the style is very simplistic, you can get a lot out of the simple style, because style is so simple, you can actually like do a lot with it in terms of the other aspects of dynamic posing and stuff like that. Another thing that you should actually work on is actually building the shapes out better. I think that's something that you got to do in terms of the body. Like it's kind of bland, it's kind of, you know, in some places you actually land the shape language really well, but there are times when it just doesn't land, you know. It's just bouncing all over the place. So I think maybe trying figuring out your shapes, you know, for your characters, your silhouettes, stuff like this could also help you in improving your posing for your characters. So hopefully this video has helped those, you know, want to improve on their comics, as well as the author themselves. Nothing button, shout out to you. Hopefully you do the best you can, and hopefully you improve moving forward. So hopefully anything I say here kind of helped you and kind of helped figure things out. If you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, ring the bell, you know what to do, and I'll see you guys in the next video.